Welcome. This is Ayana Lahi, and I am so very happy that you're here with me in this week's episode of Be One, Be You. We are diving into the theme, clearing the patterns you created to fit in. All of us create patterns. Patterns are repetitive actions and behaviors that come from an energetic response to what we're perceiving. That perception creates a feeling. So as you're feeling a certain response, a particular way of thinking about yourself and others, what happens is that you create a pattern. You realize it works. It helps you to accomplish something like stay in control, please others. It helps you to believe that you're loved. And it may actually give you the love that you need, or it might give you crumbs of love, particles of love, and the illusion of love. And that's part of the awakening process, is that we go through awakening to what love really feels like and how love was given to us to help us believe that who we are shouldn't exist or can exist. Where I come from in all of the Be One, Be You podcasts is to bridge the gap between understanding the psychology, the ways that we think about ourselves in life, with the spiritual realization and awakening of who we truly are. And to engage in that experience, that process, through love and through awakening to the energy within you. The energy inside of you is your cosmic connection to the light that you are. You have light already existing inside of you. It's that spark of divine intelligence. So for those of you who really love going outside the box and going beyond your own limitations, I invite you to go on this journey with me right now to explore the patterns that you created to make yourself feel good about yourself and have other people respond to you in the way that you want them to. And we each have a different way of doing that. The goal here is that we let go of fitting ourselves into a box in order to be liked, appreciated, approved of, and loved, where we take that risk to break down the walls that we have to our true self and say, yeah, I'm going for it. I want to clear these patterns so that I can be in my life being who I really am. And why do I teach this, share this? Well, it's because in order to bust through hiding from ourselves, to bust through living in that gap between what's real and what's false, we have to deconstruct, to reconstruct into our real self. And for those of you who have the interest to discover who you really are and to open up to being in your body in an authentic way without the ego control, the you that dictates or subtly or most obviously keeps you in a certain groove so that you fulfill what its agenda is for you. For those of you who really want to go for that edge of being all that you can be, whether in the arts and business, in whatever field of endeavor you are pulled to that really sparks you, this is a really, really big piece. When we look out into the world right now, we can see all the different subgroups, I'll call them cliques, of belief systems that keep people believing what they're believing, even though it may not be working for the culture, our society, economically, artistically, politically. It's right here for all of us to say, hey, am I really seeing what's going on here? Do I really want to wake up? All these podcasts and all the Spirit Gateways work is dedicated to all of you who are wanting to really be who you truly are and really embrace who you are so you can create that life that you came here to live and to experience. This topic is a big one for me because in all of our systems, whether religious systems, spiritual systems, we have to fit in. There are school systems, there are ways of being, and there's a difference between fitting yourself into systems, socially, family, parental, schooling, because they're really good for you. What you're really learning is to structure yourself to really open up and become who you are, really strengthen the connections you have with yourself. Or you're fitting in and you lose yourself. That's really the main core topic of a lot of what I go into in many of the podcasts and in the courses. It's step one to walking your path of enlightenment, really enlightening in yourself, experiencing divine union in yourself with the partner, making money in a joyful way, in a way that really strengthens you. So when you choose your path of being strong, you have to face what has felt weak. And when you look out into the world, you can see how many individuals who are guiding the systems in the world, they're not really in touch with the weaknesses they have. It's all about proving their strengths. There's a word that a friend many, many decades ago shared with me, and it's stroft. It's strong softness. And it is that balance of the awakened inner masculine and inner awakened feminine. And that's where you always want to be focusing in your life at these times. It's one of the main evolutionary patterns that is meant to be awakened and realized, how you are in relationship to your inner male, inner female, in a really positive way, meaning you're bringing out the true qualities, the true vulnerabilities and strengths and spiritual truths of your inner male and inner female. So let's dive into this journey we're taking right now together. And I'd like to invite you to get out a notebook that's a writing notebook or some paper for you to write on. And I will give you a moment to grab that notebook or some paper. You can also type in your computer. And I'd like to invite you to make a list of what you believe about yourself. And as you make this list, let it be a list of what you believe about who you really, really are. And there can be qualities on this list of what people do not really see about you that you would like them to see more about you. And to write about what you have come to believe about yourself. And also include in a separate section what you have believed about yourself that was in the past. That was the once upon a time that is part of your past. And just take some moments to write this. Feel free to come back to it. And then I'd like to invite you to write about how you've left some of those qualities about yourself and why. How you have left those qualities, those beliefs about yourself that are not being fully lived out. And why you've left them. The next writing exercise is to write about what you took on in your family that wasn't yours. What did you take on in your family that wasn't yours, but it was someone else's expectations or incompletions or anxieties or hopes and their concerns? How did you take it on? What did you do? The next question is, what did you have to agree to do to get love? What have you believed and agreed to do to get love? What have you believed and agreed to do to get love? Asking these questions because they help you get in touch with the patterns that you stepped into that usually block us. And it keeps you in a belief system and shuts you down to yourself. The final question, and I do hope you come back to this and listen to this again, is what are you doing to get love? What are you presently doing in your life to get love? And what patterns were you doing for a lot of your life, even as a teen, young adult? And if you're a teen or young adult listening to this, just write out what you are doing to get the love that you really want. This invitation to you to go through these questions is to help you get in touch with the patterns that you've created to fit in and then consequently leave yourself. If you've taken on a belief system that was someone else's or a system's belief system without really experiencing whether it really worked for you or not, what that does is it always shuts down the door to you discovering who you are and what's really good for you. You can honor and respect all people's belief systems. And of course, the boundary for me is always if they're hurting someone else. Emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, sexually. And so then that belief system is not a system that's based upon the truth and honor of life itself and the soul. There's an integrity that happens through the heart. So what I'm asking you to really be with right now is what did you have to forfeit? And what integrity with yourself did you have to bypass or ignore or deny in order to come back to you? Coming back to you is the starting point for your true spiritual journey. And this is the bridge that I was talking about earlier that means a lot to me to share with you, is that it's the way that you are in relationship with yourself emotionally and psychologically that gives you the foundation that is needed to, in a really positive, healthy way, step onto your spiritual path, which is the pathway of finding your true self and coming closer to the source of creation and then the source of infinite oneness. The infinite oneness is God itself, whatever term or word that you use. Either there is an openness to going through this door, or there's the shut door. When there's a shut door in yourself or in somebody that you know or even have heard about, it's because they chose not to be who they are, and they choose to stand in a system that is created from separation. As soon as you, someone else that you know or don't know that you might read about in the news, online, separates from themselves and creates a system, a belief system to stand in, it's because they got stuck in a pattern. We all go through identifying with patterns. My invitation to you is just to know the pattern so that you can choose whether you want to stay in it or let it go. Usually we let it go only when we want something more, when we are being pulled, pushed from within ourselves to get clear with ourselves, to show up, to end bypassing, to end denying, because we're wanting a higher level of interaction with life. You want the adventure of living from your soul, from the truth of who you are. It's true, the truth does set you free. I've seen it through my whole life, and it was and still is, one of the core beliefs in myself, always seeking the truth, always diving in to see how the universe is really connected, so that I am letting go of anything in my way that keeps me from being connected into that universal truth. And that's my invitation for you to find that in your way, to go for the inner truth that connects you to that inner core within you. And that inner core is the true system. It is the truth system. It is what unifies the way the planet works. And over the last few podcasts, I've been moved to speak about that inner system between trees and the earth, between ocean, the salt, the air, evaporation, clouds, and how they work to create weather patterns, how we grow our food, how we treat the planet, how we treat ourselves, how we treat one another. This is all interconnected because it's really our evolutionary progress right now, and how we are in relationship to the systems on the outside and the system within inside of yourself, those belief systems that you fall back onto for comfort. I'd like to invite you to be aware of what your comfort zones are and to choose them carefully, consciously, with awareness, so that you are choosing your comfort zones to support your awakening instead of choosing your comfort zones to keep you asleep. Big difference. And to encourage your friends, encourage your family to awaken to choosing their comfort zones, to support them discovering, being healthier, more in tune, more awake, more compassionate, more loving. And love is what really busts the untruths into truth. The more that you love what's really true about you, really love what you really believe about is true about you, the more you can make your decisions each day, each week, each month, each year to follow the pathway that leads you home into your true self, what you know is really true to your heart. Thank you so much for joining with all of us today. And I want to invite you to really tune in to yourself, to the ocean waves, the wind within you, the fire that dissolves and melts down your own resistances and thoughts and your own defensiveness. The fire within you is a soaring flame of truth, of light. Within the core of each flame, of every flame, is the hot flame of white and gold light. May the earth hold you. May the fire dissolve all that's ready to go within you and help to ignite the truth within you. May the winds of the air blow through you to help strengthen your fire. May the waters of life, the water holding all infinite light, the water of awakening from being closed to the watery life force of your feeling, emotional nature of your heart. May all of these elements work together and be held together by the prana, the energy of life. May you choose to feel the energies within you instead of holding on to the systems and the beliefs within you that have kept you captive to going for it, to busting through the way you hold yourself back so that you can really make the most of this life. Holding you in big love. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to our next time of meeting up in the next podcasts that we share together. And please feel free to be in touch with me. I'd love to have your feedback. You can write to me at ayana@ayanalehi.com, IANA at ayanalehi, IANALAHI.com. I'd love to hear from you and holding you deeply in the love of creation and all source. Looking forward to our time together next time. This is Ayana Lehi.